Um, this is loud, but today I'm gonna be, as the first recording and upload, I'm gonna be showing an early Quadrillions tutorial for the setup on Miners Haven and Roblox. Let me get into full screen. Okay, so what I do is I always have a receiver, it doesn't matter which one it is. Have a basic conveyor going to the left, going into another basic conveyor, and then you can put your old pulsar wherever you want. I just put it there. You can put military grade conveyors or whatever kind of conveyor you want. I do ore tracker. That's optional because it shows how much money it displays the amount of money above each ore. And then I take 8 cursed ore purifiers. Then I drag it with 2 basic conveyors. Doesn't have to be ancient, but I recommend it is if you have any. Ancient into a basic, up onto 2 conveyor ramps, and then it will center it onto the other conveyors into the 25 Ferron Blast upgraders. And then some people use a ton of Schrodinger evaluators. I really don't recommend you do because a lot of the ore gets destroyed in the process of upgrading. But I put 10 Schrodinger evaluators, and then it's a conveyor of your choice, doesn't really matter. And then you attach portable ore advancers on the side, 30 of them. I recommend like lunar refiners if you have any. If you don't, that's fine. We only have 2 because we can't afford another right now. I use 5 advanced ore scanners because then there's a way higher chance that the ore is going to get scanned. You use basics and then plasmas for the turn so it doesn't get stuck on the wall, the tiny walls that the basic conveyors have. Maybe use a conveyor wall in case it goes too fast, and you place your other scanners. Then if you have enough money, a tiny conveyor going into this one, and then a conveyor ramp going up into ore zappers, which are really cheap. 14K for one. You have to have the conveyor ramp because if you have regular tiny conveyors, it will not reach it because these are a bit too high. And then professional upgrades if you have any, really optional. I recommend you put them down if you do. And then mithril is too short to be duplicated by an ore replicator, which mithril mines are 42 quad each, so that's not really recommended for this setup if you're doing early quads. I recommend painite mines because those are pretty cheap. What are they? 2.9 trillion each, but you have to put them on corners, so that's why they're kind of weird. Oh, I thought that was a blue crate. You want to have, I did tiny conveyors because it kind of helps me move the ore better. Put a few conveyor walls just in case because the drop might cause some of the ore to go a bit crazy. So I used the tiny conveyors, 2 rows because it equals a regular basic conveyor. Put it to the sides going into one straight one because it makes it even smaller. Put it into a basic conveyor. Put some walls just in case because, of course, you can see the little tiny walls glitching through the conveyor, which kind of stop the ore sometime. So you want to have basic conveyors. You want this one to go into a straight one. I recommend a conveyor converter if you're doing a large conveyor ramp because it usually gets stuck here and causes a huge clog. And then I'm not sure if it can be replicated again, but I just put it there just in case. Put more basic conveyors around. New chemical refiner if you have any. You can get it from the masked man. And then you want a flaming ore scanner if you can get enough money because that's a bit expensive. It's, what is it? 9.5 quad. And then you want to get the Dream Maker, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us can afford. Yeah, 2.15 quad. It's easy to get. But before the setup, if you're trying to get a few quadrillion, I really recommend that you use 2 painite mines. Here, I'll show you an example. You'll want sacrificial cells, which are pretty hard to get for an early trillions person. Sacrificial cell. You can fit 2 painite mines. Yeah, put one there, and then see the top touches, and then they both go in 80 billion each, or that goes in, which you can see 160 billion a second, which is really good if you're trying to make some good trillions, if you can't afford too many things in the setup. But if you already have, I don't know, how much money do you think we would need, James? 15 quad or more for the entire setup. Really depends on how good you were before you tried the setup. So yeah, it's kind of confusing whether or not you'll get a good amount of money from this, because first of all, if you're in a laggy server, the ore is going to glitch everywhere. So yeah, we have 100 quadrillion from the setup so far. We've been playing for about 30 minutes around, but yeah, it's really random whether or not you'll get a ton of money from this, but the Dream Maker is really helpful at this point because it multiplies the ore by 10. So if there's like an ore, let's say it has 100 trillion on it before it goes into the Dream Maker, that's 1 quad if it's 100 trillion. 2 quad if it's 200 trillion, so on and so forth. So if you don't know what the sparkling means, I didn't really know, but my friend over here knows. It means that the Schrodinger's favored the ore, which I can't really understand because that's like nothing. I'd rather have that ore get kicked off the map than actually sell it. But the Schrodinger evaluators, it's not your fault if you don't get a lot of money. It's not our fault if you don't get a lot of money. It's really random, so you might want to, like, I don't know, sit next to your computer, have this game running, and then maybe go on your iPad and play whatever the heck you want, or whatever. Just open it up in another window and play something, because it might take a bit. But remember that I think it's like 20 minutes on being idle, then you'll get kicked. But yeah, even though it's pretty long, and you will reach your ore limit if you have a few painite mines. Know your limit, by the way. This is a really good setup. I just came up with it off the top of my head because I really was trying to help my friend and get to the 100 quads. But yeah, hope it works for you, and like and comment, give us feedback on whether it works for you or not, and if we should do more of these. Bye bye. Whoops, what the heck.